Okay, sorry about that. I had to cut because the sun was beating down right in my face. And I worked too many years in a dark post-production studio. My studio has windows because I need the sun in my life. Okay? 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 They know you're going to be miles away. Okay? 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 Whatever you need, Leo gets. Huh? Okay? Joe Pesci. I love Joe Pesci. It's probably not the best Joe Pesci impression. Whatever. I love Joe Pesci. And you know, he's fairly conservative. I wonder if he and De Niro are very good friends anymore. I don't know if they ever were. I used to like De Niro a little bit. A little bit. But, well, Joe Pesci is a conservative. And De Niro is De Niro. Anyway, so let's talk about what happens, right, to your child when your child goes to daycare all day. How do they see it? Let's look at it from their perspective. What does a child observe? What do they learn? What are they instilled with while they're growing up by going to daycare from the age of 3? Some people send their kids to daycare from 6 months old, from 3 months old, or have a babysitter at home. At least if there's a babysitter at home, at least they're in their home. So I will say that. That's good. There's your first option. There's a good option for you. Okay? Now, what does your kid see? They wake up, they have a little bit of time with parent, they eat some food, and then they get shuffled off to daycare and pawned off on the person that watches them all day. Now they go into that daycare, mom or dad is gone, and they proceed to spend the next 10 hours in a place with 23 other kids, or however many kids are in the daycare facility, and they become one of 24. So let's examine the good things that this might promote. Well, in a good way, it might promote equality. And I've heard a lot of people say, well, what about that? And I say, okay, well, that's a good thing, of course. We want to teach our children that all people are equal, right? But we don't want to teach our children that all people are equally insignificant. We want to teach them that all people are equally important. Not insignificant, important, right? All people are loved. Not all people are ignored. Now, I'm not saying that daycare facilities ignore children. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that they are no more important than the other 23 kids that are there. And teachers are very loving and caring. Okay? But they're not the connection. You remember, like we talked about before, the connection? Your children have one connection on this earth. One intrinsic connection from which they came. That's mom and dad. This other person is simply a person of authority who watches over them. Takes care of them, yes. But in tending to a child's boo-boo, they tend to that child just the same as the other and the other and the other. Well, Jeff, what about, when you have multiple siblings? It's the same thing if it's mom or dad. Yes, but no. Come on. You're talking about mom or dad tending to a kid, and there's a sibling, and that child knows that that sibling is cared for and loved, but they know that they are cared for and loved. They are siblings. They themselves are connected. In the daycare, the 23 other kids, they come and go. They might make a friend, and then all of a sudden they disappear. Maybe they never see them again. Daycares aren't even like schools where you progress in the grades with the schools, right? Your kid may go to the same daycare for 2 or 3 years, but many kids are going to move out of that daycare, go to a different daycare, move on to school, do this, do that, okay? And the caregivers themselves move on. So who's the caretaker this year that watches over them and, yes, cares for them well and loves them in the way that they can love these 24 children? But no one of them is more important than the other. Oh, well, that's a good thing. Isn't that a good thing in teaching equality? No. I'm not saying that, well, we should all think we're more important than the next guy. That's not what I'm saying. But you have to know your own importance in order to know the importance of others, that they are as important as you. If you don't know that, then it's not that they are as important as you, it's that they are as insignificant as you. You see the difference? If you are in a place with however many people, and you are all treated exactly the same, and you're all cared for exactly the same by someone who really actually has no worldly connection to you, and the other people you're in the room with have no worldly connection to you other than you're all in this room today, and that's your life over the next however many years, while mom and dad go off and do their thing, and they see me for an hour in the morning and they see me for an hour at night, but the bulk of my day, the bulk of my life is spent being cared for by this person who may change next year to a different person, and it's spent with all these people who I am not actually connected to. How does that make you feel? What does that instill in you? It instills insignificance. I'm sorry. If you want to try and look at it and see it any other way, you're crazy. You're talking about a child and what they are perceiving from the life that they are living. And the life that they are living is being one in a million. Being looked after by the current authority figure who tells them what to do and protects them and cares for them and I guess kind of in their way loves them, but they're not related. They don't intrinsically love them. They don't care for them any better or any worse than the next kid. And actually, as we know kids, the kid might even perceive that they do care for them not as well as that kid. How come that kid gets that and I don't get that? When you're at home and that kid gets that and why don't I get that? You're siblings. You're connected. And your parents say, share. When you're in the daycare, the person of authority tells you to share. And guess what? That kid doesn't care about you whatsoever. Maybe there's bullies. Maybe there's not bullies. Whatever. You don't have to be a bully to not care about somebody and hurt their feelings. Right? So, in the overall scheme of things, what is the life of this child from the age of whatever age you're putting them in there, 6 months old, 3 months old, 3 years old, till they get to kindergarten? So at the age of 2, 3, 4, 5, they are being instilled with insignificance. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be harsh about it and put it that way, but that's the way it is. And that's not to say anything bad about the caregivers or bad about the care facility or school or whatever it is. They are doing their best and they're doing what they're called to do. They're called to care for other people, for children. And that's commendable. All I'm saying is that should be a minimum. That should be a last resort. We shouldn't be looking, the goal shouldn't be, let's get every kid in the world into daycare so that parents can go out and work. And that seems to be a big part of what the left is trying to promote. And I'm sorry, I think the reason they're trying to promote that is because of exactly what I'm talking about. They know what they're doing. They are teaching the next generation of children to accept 100% insignificance and reliance on the authority figure. You see? They are being taught They are being instilled with lack of self, lack of individuality, lack of love, and lack of God. Now, if you're sending them to a daycare facility that's of God, so to speak, that's a good thing. But if it's a generic, like most of them are, care facility, they're not instilling God. They're not instilling individuality and self-respect and self-worth. They're doing the exact opposite. And I'm not saying that that's what they mean to do. They are all well-meaning. Absolutely. What's not well-meaning is this whole concept of turning our society into a global society of equal insignificance.